Good morning, students. This is class 11th, subject chemistry, chapter 4, chemical bonding and molecular structure, and this is lecture number 8. In this lecture, we will discuss NCERT exercise questions. So, first question is explain the formation of a chemical bond. So, chemical bond is an attractive force between two atoms due to which a molecule forms. So there are many theories which explain the chemical bond. So one of the theories states that atoms combines with another atoms and forms chemical bond in order to complete their octet. Okay. So when atoms complete their octet or duplet, then they become stable, and due to which there will be formation of a covalent bond. Okay. That is why formation of chemical bond occurs. Okay. Now second question is write Lewis dot symbol for atom of the following element. So first one is sodium. So atomic number of sodium is 11. So first you have to write down electronic configuration of sodium. So write down electronic configuration of sodium in your notebook. Yes, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. So as you can see that last electron is filled into 3s1, s orbital, right? So valence electron of sodium is equal to 1. So here we will represent 1 electron on sodium atom. Okay, so this is Lewis dot structure of sodium. Now Lewis dot structure for magnesium. Now atomic number of magnesium is 12. Okay, and it belongs to second group. So now again you have to write electronic configuration. So write down electronic configuration of magnesium. Pause the video and write down electronic configuration of magnesium. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. So in 3s orbital 2 electrons are present, right? So 2 valence electrons are present on magnesium. So here you will represent 2 electrons on magnesium. So this is the Lewis dot structure of magnesium. Next is oxygen. Atomic number of oxygen is 8 and electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. Okay, so 2s2, 2p4. Now you have to count electron on 2s orbital and 2p orbital. So total there are 6 valence electron. So here we will represent 6 electron on oxygen atom. Now next one is nitrogen. So atomic number of nitrogen is 7. Electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. So valence electrons are 5 because we have to count electrons of 2s orbital and 2p orbital. So 2s2, 2p3. So 2 plus 3, 5. So 5 valence electron. So this is how you will represent Lewis dot structure of nitrogen. Now next one is boron. Atomic number of boron is 5 and electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So in 2s orbital and 2p orbital, the valence electron are equal to 3. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. As you can see that boron belongs to p block, right? So here valence electrons are counted in 2s as well as 2p orbitals. So 3 valence electrons are represented like in this way. So this is Lewis dot structure of boron. Now next one is bromine. Now bromine belongs to 17th group of the periodic table and 17th group elements have 7 valence electron. Okay, so here you will represent 7 valence electron like in this way. Okay, now third question is give the Lewis dot symbol for the elements given below. Aluminium and aluminium 3 positive. Now aluminium belongs to group number 13. Okay, and valence electrons of aluminium is also equal to 3. So here you will represent 3 electrons on aluminium. But in case of aluminium 3 positive, there is deficiency of 3 electrons because there is 3 positive charge. So here we will remove 3 electrons. So after removing 3 electrons, the Lewis dot structure of aluminium will be Al and there will be 3 positive charge and there will be no electron on it. Why? Because all the 3 valence electrons are removed from the aluminium. That is why aluminium acquired 3 positive charge. So you will show no electron on the aluminium atom. Okay. Now next part is hydrogen and H negative ion. Atomic number of hydrogen is 1 and valence electron of hydrogen atom is also 1. Okay, so here this is the Lewis dot structure of H hydrogen atom. H negative ion means that there is one extra electron, right? So that means there are 2 electrons on hydrogen atom. So here you will represent 2 electrons and you will write negative charge. Okay, this negative sign shows that there is excess of electron. Okay, -1 means there is extra 1 electron. Next part is sulfur and sulfur 2 negative. So sulfur belongs to group number 16. So here 16 group element has 6 valence electrons. So here you will show 6 electrons like in this way. Now in sulfur 2 negative ion there are 2 extra electrons. That means 6 plus 2. So total 8 electrons are present. So on sulfur atom you will represent 8 electrons. Okay, and you will write here 2 negative charge. In question number 4, draw the Lewis-Dot structure for the following molecules and ions. So first one is SiCl4. Now silicon belongs to group number 14 and group number 14th element has 4 valence electron, right? Okay, so here you will write 4 electrons of silicon. So next part is H2S. Now central atom is sulfur and hydrogen atoms are attached to sulfur atom. Okay. Now sulfur belongs to 16th group. So valence electron of sulfur are 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. That means sulfur needs only 2 electrons to complete its octet. Similarly here hydrogen has 1 electron and it needs only 1 electron to complete its duplet. This hydrogen also have 1 valence electron. Now there will be sharing of electrons. Sulfur atom will share 1 electron with this hydrogen atom and it will share 1 electron with this hydrogen atom. Okay. When it will share 2 electrons with the hydrogen atom, then its octet will be complete. Okay. And duplet of hydrogen atom will be complete and there will be formation of chemical bond. This is covalent bond. Okay. Now next one is HCOOH, formic acid. So here central atom is here carbon. Carbon atom is attached to one oxygen atom, second oxygen atom and one hydrogen. Okay, so now as you can see that carbon can form only 4 bonds. So here it will form double bond with this oxygen atom and single bond with the other oxygen atom, and hydrogen with hydrogen it will form single bond. Now how you will come to know that it will form double bond with the oxygen atom? So for that you have to show valence electron of carbon atom. So you will show first valence electron here, second valence electron here and 2 valence electron of carbon atom here. Okay. In the same way you will show valence electron of oxygen atom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now oxygen needs only 2 electron to complete the octet. So oxygen will share 2 electron with carbon. And carbon will also share 2 electron with oxygen because carbon needs 4 electron. So carbon will get 2 electron from this oxygen, 1 electron from this hydrogen atom and 1 electron from this oxygen atom. Okay, so carbon will get 4 electrons by sharing of electrons. So that is why its octet is complete. Now you will represent valence electron of this oxygen atom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now this oxygen atom needs 2 electrons. So it will share 1 electron with this hydrogen atom and it will share 1 electron with this carbon atom. Okay. So in order to complete its octet, it will share electron from these 2 atoms and its octet will be complete. Okay. And there will be formation of single bond. And these 2 are lone pairs. Here also these 2 are lone pairs. That means non-bonding electrons. Next one is BeF2, beryllium. So central atom is beryllium. Now here you can see that valence electron of beryllium is 2. So 1, 2. And valence electron of fluorine is equal to 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and here 7. So fluorine will complete its octet. Here also fluorine will complete its octet by sharing electron with beryllium. But now beryllium has 2 electrons and even after sharing of electron it has 4 electrons. That means octet is not complete but still it is making the compound. Okay, so it is one of the limitation of octet rule. Next is CO3 2 negative carbonate ion. So here central atom is carbon and valence electron of carbon are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But as you can see here that there are 2 negative charge, right? So when you will write oxygen atom, then you will write 1 extra electron with this oxygen atom and 1 extra electron with this oxygen atom. Okay, because there is 2 negative charge. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7th electron is present here. Okay. Similarly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7th electron is present here. Okay, due to negative charge on carbonate ion. Now you will represent 6 valence electron of this oxygen atom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now carbon has 4 valence electron, 1, 2, 3, 4. So carbon will share 2 electrons with this oxygen atom and oxygen will share 2 electrons of carbon atom. Okay, so in total there are 4 electrons here. Okay, so there will be formation of double bond, right? So octet of oxygen is complete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And carbon needs 4 electrons. So it will take 2 electrons from this atom, 1 electron from this atom, 1 electron from this atom. So by this octet of carbon will be complete. So here this oxygen atom has 7 electron due to one negative charge, and this oxygen atom also has negative charge due to 7 electron due to negative charge. So it will share 1 electron with this carbon atom, and carbon will also share 1 electron with the oxygen atom. So in total here there are sharing of electron and there are total 2 electrons, so formation of single bond. Here also there is sharing of 2 electron, 1 electron is present here, 1 electron is present here, so there is a single bond. Okay, so this is how you will draw diagram for carbonate ion. So next question, define octet rule, write its significance and limitation. So what is octet rule? That atom can combine either by transfer of valence electrons from one atom to another or by sharing their valence electrons in order to achieve the nearest inert gas configuration, that means electronic configuration of 18 group element, by having an octet in their valence shell, by completing 8 electrons in their valence shell. Okay. Now you can give the example of CO2 molecule, that here there is carbon atom which is central atom and 4 valence electron of carbon atom are present here and 6 valence electron of oxygen atom are here. Okay, so oxygen will complete its octet and here there will be sharing of electron. Here oxygen will complete its octet and here there will be sharing of electron and carbon will also share electrons. So there will be formation of double bond here and here. Okay, now what are the significance? Octet rule explains the chemical bond formation. We can explain how the chemical bond forms. Okay, so it gives the explanation of chemical bond formation. Limitation is that it fails to predict the relative stability and shape of the molecule. We cannot predict that how stable a molecule is, or we cannot tell that what is the shape of the molecule, whether it is tetrahedral or trigonal, bipyramidal. So it cannot explain the shape of the molecule and it cannot tell the relative stability. Next one is that it is based on the inert nature of noble gases. But there are some inert gases, there are some 18 group elements like krypton, xenon which forms compound, okay, like KrF2, XeF2. So this is krypton, this is xenon. So 18 group element do not form any compound because they have stable electronic configuration, but still they form, but there are still some elements which forms compound. So this is also one of the limitation of the octet rule. Next limitation is there are some central atoms which have more than 8 electrons, but still they form stable compounds, right? Like here sulfur is attached to 6 fluorine atom, right? So it has more than 8 electrons. The 6 valence electron of sulfur and it is sharing 6 electron from fluorine atom. So in total sulfur has 12 electrons, but still SF6 is stable. Now in the same way PF6, here phosphorus belongs to 15 group, so 5 valence electron of phosphorus and 5 fluorine atoms are attached with phosphorus. It is sharing total 5 electrons with fluorine, so 5 plus 5 10. So here phosphorus have 10 electron, right? But it is also stable, so it is also a limitation. In the same way, there are some compounds whose octet in which central atoms do not fulfill its octet, right? Like AlCl3. Here, you will observe the aluminium shares electron with 3 chlorine atom and valence electron of aluminium is equal to 3. So in total, aluminium has 6 electron. So octet is not complete, but still it forms AlCl3 compound. In the same way, LiCl, here you can see that lithium has 2 electrons after sharing of electron, right? So its duplet is complete but not the octet. So it is also a limitation. Now next question is, write the favorable factors for the formation of ionic bond. What are the factors which favors the formation of ionic bonds, which helps the formation of ionic bond? So first of all, what is ionic bond? Ionic bond takes place by the transfer of one or more electrons from one atom to another, right? Now this ionic bond depends on some factors, because one atom is losing one electron and another atom is gaining one electron. So it depends upon the electron affinity. That means it depends upon the electron gain enthalpy of the known metal. Okay. If electron gain enthalpy of the known metal is more negative, that means it can easily gain electron. Okay. There is also one more factor, that is low ionization enthalpy of atom of metal, because electrons are loosed by metal. So if metal can lose electron easily, that means its ionization enthalpy will be less. So ionization enthalpy should be less and electron gain enthalpy should be high. Next factor is high lattice enthalpy of compound which is formed. High lattice enthalpy means when two ions combines together, then there should be large amount of energy which should release during the formation of ionic compound. Seventh question is, discuss the shape of the following molecule according to Vesper model. So first is BCl3. So first of all, you have to write formula to find out number of electron pairs around central atom. Here central atom is boron and formula is this: number of electron pairs around central atom is equal to 1 by 2 number of valence electrons of central atom plus number of atoms linked to central atom by single bond plus negative charge if there is any negative charge over the molecule minus positive charge if there is any positive charge. So we have to find out number of electron pairs for BCl3. Okay. So now central atom is boron, valence electron of boron is equal to 3. So here you will write 3. Number of atoms which are attached to boron with single bond 3, because here there are 3 atoms of chlorine, so 3 plus 3. It is divided by 2 and it will comes equal to 3. That means in total there are 3 electron pairs around boron. Now in BCl3 formula 3 atoms are attached to boron, right? So how many bond pairs it has? It has 3 bond pairs. Okay, 3 electron pairs and 3 bond pairs. So that means this is the shape. It has trigonal planar because there are 3 bonds which are present and there is no lone pair here. Okay, angle between these two bonds is 120 degree. In the same way you can do for SiCl4. Okay, so write down formula first in your notebook. So 1 by 2 number of valence electron of silicon. Yes, silicon belongs to which group? Yes, answer the question. Which group? 14 group. 14 group, that means number of valence electron 4. Okay, so 1 by 2 into 4 plus how many atoms are attached to silicon by single bond? 4. So 1 by 2, 4 plus 4. It will comes equal to 4. So that means in total 4 electron pairs are present in SiCl4. How many bonds are present here? 4 chlorine atoms are attached to silicon. So that means out of these 4 electron pairs, 4 bonds are present. So these 4 bonds will be present like in this way. Okay. Silicon is attached to 4 chlorine atom by 4 bonds. Okay. And the shape is tetrahedral. And you can see that there is no lone pair. There are only 4 bond pair. And the shape is tetrahedral. So next is ASF5. 5 fluorine atoms are attached to arsenic. Now write down formula first. 1 by 2 number of valence electron of arsenic. Arsenic belongs to 15th group. So valence electron of arsenic is equal to 5. 5 atoms are attached to arsenic with single bond, right? So 5 plus 5, 10. You will divide 10 by 2 and it will comes equal to 5. You will do this calculation in your notebook. Now, as you can see that total 5 electron pairs are present and 5 atoms are attached to arsenic. That means total 5 bond pairs are present. So you will show these bond pairs like in this way. This is arsenic and these are the 5 atoms. Okay, and these 2 atoms are present here. So what is the geometry here? It is trigonal bipyramidal. Now we will draw for pH3. Okay, so again you have to write formula first. 1 by 2 number of valence electron of phosphorus, 5 because it belongs to 15 group. 5 plus 3, 8. So divide 8 by 2. It will comes equal to 4. Okay, that means 4 electron pairs are present. With 4 electron, what is the geometry? It is tetrahedral. Okay, so tetrahedral, that means 1, 2, 3, 4. But only 3 atoms are present. So that means 3 atoms will make bond and 1 electron pair will make lone pair. So this is the shape and the shape is trigonal planar. Now next is BeCl2. So use the formula 1 by 2 valence electron of beryllium 2 plus 2 atoms are attached to beryllium with single bond. So 1 by 2, 2 plus 2 which is equal to 2. That means only 2 electron pairs are present and 2 chlorine atoms are attached to beryllium. That means its shape is linear shape. In question number 8, you have to answer that why bond angle of water molecule is less than ammonia. Okay, so here you will observe that in both the structure, number of electron pairs are 4, but it is bent and it is trigonal pyramidal. So here you will observe that in water molecule there are 2 lone pairs, right? And there will be repulsion between lone pair. So here there will be repulsion between lone pair and lone pair, due to which what will happen that these 2 bonds will come near to each other. As these bonds will come near to each other, then bond angle will decrease. But here there is only 1 electron. Okay. So there is less repulsion between lone pair and bond pair. So these bonds are far apart from each other in order to minimize the repulsion. So bond angle in ammonia is more than water molecule. Question number 9. How do you express the bond strength in terms of bond order? If bond order is more, that means if number of bonds between 2 atoms are more, then bond strength will be high. Here you can see that between carbon-carbon atoms, single bond is present. That means bond order is equal to 1. Here double bond is present, bond order is equal to 2. Here bond order is equal to 3. So single bond has the maximum bond length. Maximum bond length, that means we can break this bond easily. So bond strength is less. So when we go top to down, bond length decreases. So bond strength increases. And you can see that bond order also increases top to down, because here bond order is equal to 3. So it has maximum strength. Next question is define bond length. Bond length is defined as the equilibrium distance between the nuclei of 2 bonded atoms in a molecule. This is bonded. Okay, so correct it. 2 bonded atoms in a molecule. So it is the equilibrium distance between 2 bonded atoms from the nuclei of the atom. So from here to here, this distance is known as bond length. Next question is explain the important aspect of resonance with reference to carbonate ion. So from the experiments, we came to know that all the bonds which are between carbon and oxygen has the same bond length. So we cannot represent carbonate ion structure with a single Lewis dot structure. And here there are the resonating structures of carbonate ions. First you will draw Lewis dot structure. This is a Lewis dot structure, okay. Now from Lewis dot structure we came to know that there is double bond between carbon oxygen, and here there is coordination bond between these two carbon and oxygen atom. So here what will happen? See, here this electron pair will convert into bonds because in one bond two electrons are present, right? So these two electrons will make one bond. As these two electrons are making now one bond, so now carbon has 5 bond, 1, 2, 3, and this new bond 4, and this one 5. Carbon cannot make 5 bonds. So at the same time this double bond will become single by shifting here. So now this double bond will convert into electron pair. Okay. So now electrons of this bond will come here. So as you can see here that now this double bond becomes single bond and electron of this bond comes here. Okay. And these two electrons are present here in the form of bond. See. Okay. Now we will draw next resonating structure. So in next resonating structure what will happen? Now this double bond will become single and this single bond will become double. How? If this electron pair converts into bond pair, okay, if this electron pair shifts here and makes double bond, then again carbon will make 5 bonds, which is not possible. So at the same time, this double bond will shift here in the form of electron pairs. Okay, so here double bond will become single bond and here one electron pair will be present and here double bond will come. Okay. So this is how you will draw resonating structure. Next question is H3PO3 can be represented by structure 1 and 2 shown below. Can these two structures be taken as the canonical forms of the resonance hybrid representing H3PO3? If not, give reason for the same. Now you can see that here arrangement of atom is different. Hydrogen is present here, but in the structure hydrogen is present here. So when we draw resonating structures, then position of all the atoms are fixed. We cannot change that. But here position of atom is different. So that means these are not the canonical structures of the resonance. Now next question is write the resonance structure for SO3, NO2 and NO3 negative. So the Lewis dot structure for NO3 negative is this. There is double bond, right? And here there is single bond. So now how you will draw resonating structures? So double bond is present between nitrogen and oxygen atom. Okay, so this double bond can be present here, right? And the single bond can be converted into double bond. How? If the electron pair which is present here shifts here, then what will happen? This electron pair will make double bond here and at the same time this double bond will convert into electron here. So double bond will convert into electron and electrons will convert into double bond and it will make this structure. Now it is also a possibility that double bond can also be present here, right? So now in third structure double bond will be present here and here there will be single bond. How? Now here there is negative charge and 2 electrons are present here. So these 2 electrons will shift here, right? And they will make double bond. At the same time, this bond, it will convert into electron pairs and it will come here. Okay. So these are the resonating structure of NO3 negative. Now next is NO2. So this is a structure that nitrogen is making coordinate bond with oxygen atom and here it is making double bond. But it is also a possibility that double bond can also be present here and here single bond can be present. So here what will happen? In next structure, here you will draw double bond and here you will draw single bond. Okay, how? These 2 electrons which are present here in the form of electron pairs, they will shift here and they will make double bond. At the same time, this double bond will shift here in the form of electrons pair. Okay, so here is the structure. Now next one is SO3. So this is a structure of SO3. Now here what will happen? Double bond is present between these 2 atoms. Now double bond can be present here. It can come here, right? So these two electrons will shift here and they will make double bond. Okay. When they will make double bond here, at the same time, this double bond will shift here in the form of electron pair and it will become single bond. So here you can see that this is single bond and here there is double bond. Now what will happen? We will take these two bonds. Okay. These electrons which are present here, they will shift here and they will make double bond. At the same time, this double bond will shift here in the form of electron pair. So it will become single bond and it will become double bond. Next question is, use Lewis symbols to show electron transfer between following atoms to form cations and anions. First one is oxygen and calcium. So electronic configuration of oxygen and calcium are oxygen 2,6, calcium 2,8,8,2. Oxygen needs only 2 electrons to complete its octet. Okay. And here, if calcium donate 2 electrons, then it will have stable electronic configuration. So now calcium will give electron to oxygen, right? So here there is calcium atom which has 2 valence electron, oxygen atom which has 6 valence electron. So here there will be complete transfer of electron and there will be transfer of 2 electrons. Okay. So calcium will acquire 2 positive charge because it is losing 2 electron, and oxygen will acquire 2 negative charge because it gained 2 electron. Okay. So here electronic configuration of oxygen 2 negative is 2,8 and calcium 2 positive is 2,8,8. Now they are stable. So the ion will combine with each other and they will form an ionic compound. Okay. So this is the Lewis dot structure and this one is the ionic compound. Okay. Now next one is nitrogen and aluminium. So nitrogen belongs to 15th group, aluminium belongs to 13th group. Now you will write the electrons here. So electronic configuration nitrogen is 2,5, here aluminium 2,8,3. If nitrogen gets 3 electrons and if aluminium lose 3 electrons, then they will have stable electronic configuration because it will become 8 and it will become 2,8. So here what will happen? Aluminium will give 3 electrons to nitrogen. So there will be complete transfer of 3 electrons from aluminium to nitrogen. Here you can see that these are the 3 valence electron of aluminium and here they are the 5 electrons of the nitrogen. So there will be complete transfer of aluminium, right? Aluminium will acquire 3 positive charge and stable electronic configuration. Nitrogen will acquire 3 negative charge and stable electronic configuration. So this is the compound Al3 positive, nitrogen 3 negative. Next question is, although both CO2 and H2O are triatomic molecules. Triatomic molecules means 3 atoms. Okay, tri means 3 atomic atoms. Okay, so these molecules have in total 3 atoms. The shape of water molecule is bent while that of CO2 is linear. Explain this on the basis of dipole moment. So here when we draw structure of CO2, then you will observe that dipole moment of CO bond is in this direction because oxygen is more electronegative, and dipole moment of this bond is in this direction because oxygen is more electronegative. These two bonds are same. So that means dipole moment of these two bonds should also be same and they are in opposite direction. Now dipole moment is a vector quantity. So they will cancel out each other and dipole moment will be 0 and it will have linear shape. Okay. But in case of water molecule, the shape is bent because dipole moment is in upward direction of these two bonds as well as this bond. Okay. Now oxygen is more electronegative, so dipole moment direction will be in this direction, and there is lone pair also. So direction of the lone pair will be in upward direction. So there will be net direction of dipole moment is in upward direction. So it will have dipole moment of 1.84 dyne. So that is why water molecule has bent shape. Question number 16, write the significance application of dipole moment. So when two atoms are attached to each other and their electronegativity are different. For example, HCl molecule. Then there is electronegativity difference. So there will be some partial positive charge and partial negative charge, right? So here we can say that the molecules will be polar in nature. So we can measure polarity of a bond using dipole moment, because dipole moment is distance between the center into charge on the atom. So we can measure the polarity of the bond, and we can also calculate ionic character of the molecule. Question number 17. Define electronegativity. How does it differ from electron gain enthalpy? So electronegativity is the tendency to attract the shared pair of electrons, okay, in a covalent bond. On the other hand, electron gain enthalpy or electron affinity, it is a tendency to gain the electron for an isolated gaseous atom, is known as electron gain enthalpy. So when we add electron, the amount of energy which release is known as electron gain enthalpy. And the tendency to attract a shared pair of electron in a covalent bond is known as electronegativity. Now, it varies according to the element to which it is bonded with. For example, in NH3 molecule, nitrogen is more electronegative and hydrogen is less electronegative. But in NF3 molecule, fluorine is more electronegative and nitrogen is less electronegative. So it varies according to element to which it is bonded with. On the other hand, electron gain enthalpy, it does not vary according to element to which it is bounded with. Next is, it is not constant for any element. It is not same, right? It depends with which element an element is combined with. On the other hand, electron gain enthalpy is constant for an element. It is same. Electronegativity is not a measurable quantity and electron gain enthalpy is a measurable quantity. Question number 18. Explain with the help of suitable example polar covalent bond. So polar covalent bond is formed when two atoms are combining together to form a covalent bond and their electronegativity is different. When their electronegativity is different, then what will happen? There will be some partial positive and partial negative charge will come. Okay, so as you can see here, in HCl molecule, there is electronegativity difference. So chlorine will acquire partial negative charge and hydrogen will acquire partial positive charge, right? So there will be some polarity, and that is why it is known as polar covalent bond. Next question is, arrange the bonds in order of increasing ionic character in the molecule LiF, K2O, N2, SO2 and ClF3. Ionic character depends upon the electronegativity difference between two atoms. That means we have to see electronegativity difference between lithium and fluorine, potassium and oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen and chlorine, fluorine. Higher the difference, the ionic characteristic of a molecule will be higher. So you will observe here that nitrogen molecule has the least ionic character because these two atoms, nitrogen, are same. So there is no electronegativity difference. After that, sulfur dioxide will come, okay, because both the atoms belongs to the same group. So their electronegativity is not very different. Now fluorine, they are also from the same group, but their electronegativity difference is more than this one. So it will come after SO2. After that, K2O, potassium belongs to group 1, oxygen belongs to group number 16. So that means there is some electronegativity difference, and this electronegativity difference is more. After that, lithium and fluorine. Fluorine is the most electronegative atom in the periodic table. So this is the order. Question number 20. The skeleton structure of CH3COH as shown below is correct, but some of the bonds are shown incorrectly. Write the correct Lewis structure for acetic acid. So this is the structure. Now you can see here that in the structure, carbon is making double bond with hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom has only one valence electron. Okay, so how it can share two electrons with carbon? That means it is incorrect. So the correct Lewis structure of CH3COOH, acetic acid, is this. That carbon is making single bond with hydrogen atom. Okay. And here carbon is making double bond with this oxygen atom and single bond with this oxygen atom. In this way, covalency of carbon is complete, that is equal to 4. And this oxygen atom is making single bond with this hydrogen atom. Now octet of all the elements is complete. Question number 21. Apart from tetrahedral geometry, another possible geometry for methane is square planar, with the 4 hydrogen atoms at the corners of the square and the carbon atom at its center. Explain why CH4 is not square planar. That means the 4 hydrogen bonds are present here, here, here and here and making a square. So why square planar is not possible for methane molecule? So for that, first you have to write electronic configuration of carbon atom in its ground state. Atomic number of carbon is 6, so 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. You can write 2p2 like in this way, 2px1, 2py1, right? In excited state, when you will write electronic configuration, then it will be 1s2, 2s1. One electron will jump from 2s orbital to 2pz orbital. So this is the orbital electronic configuration. Okay, here 1s orbital, here there is 2s orbital, and here 2px, 2py, 2pz. So one electron from 2s orbital will jump to 2pz. So earlier in ground state electronic configuration, 2 electrons were present, right? Now here only 1 electron is present because 1 electron jumps to the 2pz orbitals. Okay, so here you can see that these 4 electrons, these 4 orbitals, 2s, 2px, 2py, 2pz, they will involve in hybridization, and the hybridization will be sp3. And with the sp3 hybridization, geometry will be tetrahedral. It will not be square planar, because with sp3 hybridization, geometry is always tetrahedral, it is fixed. In order to have square planar geometry, the hybridization should be dsp2. That means there should be 1 d orbital, 1 s orbital and 2 p orbital in the hybridization. Only then there will be formation of square planar geometry. Okay, you will study about this geometry in detail in 12th class. Now next question is, explain why BeH2 molecule has a zero dipole moment although the BeH bonds are polar. There is a polarity between beryllium and hydrogen atom, right? But the dipole moment direction is in this. Okay, and here the dipole moment direction is in this way. So here you can see that dipole moment are in opposite direction and it is a vector quantity. So they will cancel out each other, and as they will cancel out each other, that means dipole moment is equal to 0. The next question is, which out of NH3 and NF3 has higher dipole moment and why? This question I have already explained in the lecture video, so you can see that. Question number 25. Describe the change in hybridization, if any, of the aluminium atom in the following reaction. Okay, AlCl3 plus Cl negative gives AlCl4 negative. This is a sign of arrow. Okay, so correct it. Formula to find out number of electron pairs and hybridization is 1/2 number of valence electron of central atom plus number of atoms linked to central atom by single bond plus negative charge minus positive charge. So here 1/2 number of valence electron of aluminium is equal to 3. 3 atoms are attached, so it is equal to 3. Number of electron pairs are equal to 3. So with 3 electron pairs, hybridization will be sp2. So hybridization is sp2. But this is for AlCl3. For AlCl4 negative, the hybridization is sp3. How? 1/2 number of valence electron of aluminium 3 plus 4 atoms of chlorine are attached with single bond to aluminium, then 4 plus negative charge. So for negative charge add 1, it is equal to 4. So with 4 electron pairs, hybridization is sp3. In total you can count them 3p, 1s. So in total it is equal to 4. So hybridization is changing from sp2 to sp3. In question number 26 also you have to find out change in hybridization, okay, for boron atom and nitrogen atom here and here. Similarly here and here. So you will use the same formula, just put the values and find out the hybridization. Next question is draw diagrams showing the formation of a double bond and a triple bond between carbon atoms in C2H4, C2H2, ethene and ethyne. So question number 27 is also explained in the lecture video. You can see that. In question number 28, you have to tell how many sigma and pi bonds are present in C2H2. So structure of C2H2 is there is triple bond between carbon-carbon atom and it is forming single bond with hydrogen atom. So here you know that whenever there is a single bond, then there is formation of sigma bond. Okay, these are the rules. Whenever there is a formation of single bond, that means there is sigma bond. Here also there will be one sigma bond. In triple bond, there is one sigma and two pi bond. So this one is sigma bond and these two are pi bonds. In double bond, one sigma and one pi bond is present. But here there is no double bond. So now you have to add these bonds. One sigma, and here also there is one sigma. So in total there are 3 sigma bonds and 2 pi bonds. Now you have to count number of bonds in C2H4. Structure is this, ethene. So carbon is making double bond with this carbon atom and there are 4 hydrogen atoms. So wherever you see single bond, you will write here sigma bond. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sigma bonds are present here. Here there is double bond. So in double bond, one is sigma, other one is pi bond. So in total there are 5 sigma and 1 pi bond. Question number 29. Considering x-axis as the internuclear axis, which out of the following will not form a sigma bond and why? Okay, sigma bond is formed by end-to-end overlapping. If axis is x-axis, then these orbitals should be on x-axis. Now 1s 2px, yes, it will form sigma bond. 1s will also form sigma bond. 1s and 2s will also form sigma bond. Here 2py and 2py. Here axis is different. So axis is y-axis. So there will be sideways overlapping. Okay. As there will be sideways overlapping, so there will be formation of pi bond, not sigma bond. So in this question, you have to tell which hybrid orbitals are used for carbon atoms in the following molecule. Okay. Hybridization of carbon atom. So here structure of first part is CH3 CH double bond CH2 is this. So here carbon is making single bond, right? 4 single bond. So hybridization of carbon 1 is sp3. Here this carbon is making 2 single bond and 1 double bond, right? So as this carbon is making double bond, so we will write here hybridization of double bond. So with double bond hybridization is sp2. So here hybridization is sp2 of carbon 2. Now carbon 3. Carbon 3 is also making 2 single and 1 double bond. So we will write hybridization of this double bond. Okay. So here you will write sp2. In the same way, second part CH3 CH3. Here carbon is making 4 single bonds. That means it is sp3 hybridization. Here also 4 single bonds, sp3 hybridization. So next is CH3 CHO. Here carbon is making 4 bonds, 4 single bonds, right? So hybridization is sp3. Here carbon is making 2 single bond, 1 double bond. So hybridization of this carbon is sp2. This is a short trick to determine the hybridization. Now next one is CH3 COOH. Carbon 1 is making 4 single bond. So hybridization is sp3. Here carbon is making double bond. So hybridization is sp2. Next one is CH3 CH2OH. So this is the structure. Here carbon is making single bonds. So that means hybridization is sp3. Now you will tell me what is the hybridization of second carbon. It is sp3 because there is formation of single bond. Next question is, what do you understand by bond pairs and lone pairs of electrons? Illustrate by giving one example of each type. So bond pairs which are making bond, those electrons which are involved in formation of bonds are bond pairs. Lone pairs are the electrons which are not participating in any bond formation. Okay, so non-bonding electrons are lone pairs. Now we will give some example. For example, ethane, carbon is making bond with carbon. Okay, and here there are 6 hydrogen atoms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 bonds are present. That means 7 bond pairs are present. And here you can see that there is no lone pair. There is no electron which is not making any bond. On the other hand, when we take example of water molecule, then here you can see that there are 2 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs because these electrons are not making any bond. So they are lone pairs. Next question is, distinguish between a sigma and pi bond. So pi bond is formed by lateral overlapping of orbitals. That means sideways overlapping of orbitals. And sigma bond is formed by head-to-head or end-to-end overlapping of orbitals. Pi bond is comparatively weak bond because there is less overlapping. On the other hand, sigma bond is comparatively strong bond. Pi bond is formed by sideways overlapping of pp orbital. On the other hand, sigma bond is formed by end-to-end overlapping of ss, sp, pp orbital. In pi bond, rotation around pi bond is restricted. Here you can see in the diagram that this is sideways overlapping. So here rotation around the axis is not possible. On the other hand, rotation is possible around sigma bond. In pi bond, electron cloud is not symmetrical about the line joining 2 nuclei. But in sigma bond, electron cloud is symmetrical about the line joining 2 nuclei. So here I am showing you diagram of pi bond. So here you can see that electron cloud is not symmetrical when there is sideways overlapping between pp orbital. In pi bond, it is having 2 electron clouds, one above the plane of the atomic nuclei and one below the plane of atomic nuclei. You can see here one is above the plane, this is the plane, and one is below the plane. On the other hand, in sigma bond, it is having 1 electron cloud and that is symmetrical about the internuclear axis. Here you can see that there is only 1 electron cloud on the same axis. So these are the difference between pi and sigma bond. Next question is, explain the formation of H2 molecule on the basis of valence bond theory. This question is already explained in the lecture video. You have to see VBT, valence bond theory, according to energy consideration. Now next question is, write the important conditions required for the linear combination of atomic orbitals to form molecular orbitals. Now the conditions are, the joining atomic orbitals must have approximately same energy. If they have different energy and the difference is very large, then there will be no overlapping. Next is, the joining atomic orbitals must have legitimate orientation to ensure the maximum overlap. Orientation should be proper, or otherwise there will be no overlapping. Next is, the overlapping must be in a large extent. The overlapping extent should be large. Next question is, use molecular orbital theory to explain why the Be2 molecule does not exist. So here you will find out bond order for Be2. So here you have to draw energy level diagram for Be2. Okay. You can draw energy level diagram for Be2 for beryllium molecule with the help of lecture video, and then you have to calculate bond order. If bond order is 0, that means this molecule does not exist. So you have to find out this by your own. Here the question is, compare the relative stability of the following species and indicate their magnetic properties. Okay, O2 molecule, O2 negative, O2 negative, O2 positive. So first you have to draw energy level diagram for all these species. So with the help of lecture video, you can easily draw energy level diagram. Now how you will tell the relative stability? You have to calculate value of bond order. Okay, calculate the value of bond order. Maximum the value of bond order, that means stability is high. So here I am giving you just hint that this is the order. Okay, so this is the answer. Next question is, write the significance of plus and minus signs shown in representing the orbitals. So plus and minus signs are the signs of the electron waves. So positive sign in representing a molecular orbital indicates the positive wave function. Okay. Next question is, describe the hybridization in case of PCl5. Why are the axial bonds longer as compared to equatorial bond? You can answer this question by yourself because it is already discussed in lecture video. You can calculate hybridization also using the formula. Use this formula, find out number of electron pairs, and with the electron pairs you can find out hybridization. Now axial bonds are longer than equatorial bond. So these are the axial bonds, these two are the axial bonds, and these three bonds are equatorial bond. Okay, so these two bonds are longer than equatorial bond because in order to minimize repulsion, these bonds, axial bonds, are longer than equatorial bond. Next question is, define hydrogen bond. Is it weaker or stronger than van der Waals forces? So this is also included in lecture video. You can define hydrogen bond, and there are two types of hydrogen bonds, and hydrogen bonds are stronger than van der Waals forces because hydrogen bonds are the extreme form of dipole-dipole interaction, because in dipole-dipole interaction also there is attractive force between positive and negative poles of the different molecules. In question number 14, what is meant by the term bond order? So you have to define bond order and you have to calculate bond order for N2O2, O2 positive, O2 negative. So here you have to draw energy level diagram for these species first, and after that you will calculate bond order. Okay, so this is also included in lecture video. So that's all for today, students. If you still have any doubt, you can ask me on my email ID. Thank you and have a nice day.